let's talk about how where the censorship is going. We got the story on DuckDuckGo. This is Gabriel Weinberg, who is the CEO and founder of DuckDuckGo. He tweeted, "Like so many others, I am sickened by Russia's invasion, so I've decided to completely and totally destroy my company. No one should ever use it again. It's a garbage." I'm just kidding. He didn't say that. What he actually said.
Might as well have. He kind of
exactly. He said, "Like so many others, I am sickened by Russia's invasion of Ukraine and that gigantic humanitarian crisis it continues to create. At DuckDuckGo, we've been rolling out search updates to downrank sites associated with Russian disinformation."
Yeah, this all makes sense now.
In addition to downranking sites associated with disinformation, we also often place news modules and information boxes at the top of DuckDuckGo search results. DuckDuckGo's mission is to make simple privacy protections. Yeah, no, that's not your value proposition, dudes. So I have a question for you, Gabriel. Who determines what's Russian disinformation? Who determines what's true? And do you have who at DuckDuckGo is the arbiter of truth and morality? So I can better understand what sites you've decided to downrank. DuckDuckGo is completely worthless at this point. I don't see why anybody would use them.
And they are, because these last, now this is making sense to me, because as I've been trying to do some research about the conflict that's going on and trying to get truth, because we know it's a big propaganda problem. I've been going from Google to DuckDuckGo and getting the exact same search results and being very frustrated by it because I rely on DuckDuckGo to give me, search results that are different from different sites than the ones that Google just gives me.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, for a very long time, DuckDuckGo was far superior to Google. When I do work with the Foundation for Economic Education to create these educational cartoons, we'll usually have people at their organization who will do some research for us if I don't have the time to dive into all of it. And there was a topic that we needed to dive into, and I can't remember exactly what it was, but the fellow who was doing research kept saying, "I can't really find anything about this on Google." And he'd been searching for hours, and I said, "Oh, just try DuckDuckGo." And within 15 minutes, he had like 10 links with a lot of really great information in them. And it's just sad that resource isn't really a reliable one anymore.
Take a look at this tweet right here. DuckDuckGo tweeted on April 6, 2019, quote, "When you search, you expect unbiased results, but that's not what you get on Google." And that is a quote from that same guy, Gabriel Weinberg.
What is wrong with this guy?
He's now like, privacy is the reason people use DuckDuckGo. No, people use DuckDuckGo because they know Google is censoring information.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there's the Brave search. People are highlighting Brave is available. So everybody switch on over, and we'll keep playing this game of cat and mouse.
Maybe we should let this guy know that he just killed his business. Tweet at him.
I think he's going to figure it out.
Yeah.
You know what? I should log in on Twitter so that I could actively do that during the show. Be like,
That'd be
Gabriel,
fun,
you have. But I did already basically tweet that. I said at DuckDuckGo destroys their only value proposition with a single tweet.
Nice.
Yeah, completely.
I'm switching over to the Brave search engine right now.
Yeah.
It's in
What
beta.
it is, Brave?
So you have your Brave browser, and then you got to go set up the Brave search engine within the browser. They're different.
Okay. Well, that's what I'm going to have to do now.
Yeah, it took me so long to get used to typing DuckDuckGo in instead of Google because it was such a habit for me that I'd formed over many years of exclusively using Google before I knew that they were terrible.
And DuckDuckGo is a terrible website name, to be completely honest.
Yeah, no, DuckDuckGo
really.
is not good branding.
We should have, if this guy CEO wants to come on and defend himself, maybe the CIA gave him a gag order and was like, "You're going to be censoring information now, and you're not allowed to talk about why."
You think he would tell you that?
Yeah.
Not on air.
He might tell Ian.
I mean, he's in.
A lot of people tell me a lot of
stuff. So there was this email service. See if you guys can look this up while I'm talking about it. Where they got what's called the National Security Letter. They had encrypted email. Was it something Forge or something? I can't remember. They said that I think it was like the NSA contacted them and said it's a national security letter. You're not allowed to tell anybody about this. Turn over all this information. And he was like, nope. And then they were like, if you don't do this, you're getting in trouble. And then he went public and was like, I got this letter. They're demanding I turn over information on my clients. And then, basically, I think they basically shut down his entire company. So this guy's probably chilling. And he's sitting there thinking like, we're doing a great job of fighting censorship. And there's a knock on the door and there's a guy in NSA, badge. And he's like, you are from now on going to be censoring information we don't like. And he goes, you got it, boss. And then he goes to his Twitter account. And he's like, we don't like free information. We want censorship. There you go.
Problem with centralized power. You do not want, as a tech leader, you do not want centralized control of your organization, man, because you are the target. You got to decentralize that. No one person should be able to change a search engine like that, in my opinion. It's way too dangerous. People can get co-opted.
Yep. Let me see. I think I found this story. Is this it?
From 2013?
2013 story, how the government killed a secure email company. Well, I don't know if this is the same company, but they say in mid-July, Tanya Lokshina, deputy director for Human Rights Watch Moscow office, wrote on her Facebook wall that she had received, yes, it was Lavabit, there you go, an email from Edward Snowden at Lavabit. It requested that she attend a press conference at Moscow's Sheremetyevo International Airport, I'm probably saying it wrong,
Sheremetyevo.
to discuss the NSA leaker situation. Yesterday, Lavabit went dark. In a cryptic statement posted on its website, the service's owners and operator, Ladar Levison, wrote, I cannot share my experiences over the last 6 weeks, even though I have twice made the appropriate requests. Those experiences led him to shut down the service rather than, as he put it, become complicit in crimes against the American people. Lavabit users reacted with consumer vitriol on the company's Facebook page. What about our emails? But the tide quickly turned toward government critique. By the end of the night, a similar service, Silent Circle, also shut down its encrypted email product, calling the Lavabit affair the writing on the wall. So, clarification. He refused to give in to the government and shut it down rather than turn over people's information.
Good for him.
Yeah.
That's great.
And maybe that's what happened with DuckDuckGo. Maybe they knock on your door one day and they're like, well, we can destroy you and everything you love and own, or you can bend the knee and do as you're told.
Welcome to the empire.
Yeah.
It's been so good to you your whole life. Now bow.
Well, then what? You would never. I mean, either way, his business is dead. So you might as well have your dignity.
Seriously.
I'd love to be the CEO of DuckDuckGo. I'm not saying this actually happened. We don't know for sure. But I tell you this, if I was the CEO of this company and then I get a knock on the door and they're like, we want you to censor information from Russian sources, I'd be like, no. And they would be like, you have to. And I'd be like, how about I just shut it down? And then what are they going to do about it? And then I go public and be like, hey guys, the government's requesting we censor information, so I'm shutting it down.
At least you'd be a hero at that
being
point.
said,
Yep.
Elon Musk
Yep.
he publicly stated he will never censor information over Starlink. So
Except at gunpoint. He said he would
at
do it at
gunpoint.
gunpoint.
But dude's got, some people say there's a thing called FU money.
Yeah.
Elon Musk has something like F everyone money.
Yes.
Wait, did he literally say I would at gunpoint?
Yeah.
Well, he's just inviting gunpoint.
Right, exactly.
I'm trying to use this Brave search. It's in beta. It's not great yet. That's the downside. Like I'm
Well,
gonna
maybe
go.
it will be.
I'm gonna go home. I was said later. I'm gonna go home later after the show and get on my computer, my desktop, and I've got DuckDuckGo and Google search. If I really need a good search engine that can crawl the web, I need something that's tried and true.
DuckDuckGo is my current default.
Me too.
So now I have to switch it because I'm not going to support this.
Yeah, like maybe I'll use it when I'm not searching for news, but then go to Brave when I'm searching for data about Russia.
I don't know
guess
how this
maybe
show
that's-
exists.
Yeah.
Because you're so
That's it.
charming, dude.
Yeah.
And you actually do your research.
Yeah, I guess. But I don't know, man. The government, the institutions, the establishment, Democrats and neocons are trying so hard to drum up a war between NATO and Russia. We've got 13,000 NATO soldiers in Estonia right now, I think Estonia, and they're firing Stinger missiles, and Kamala Harris is in Poland and she's saying, Putin, don't you dare, we're coming. It's like, that's the opposite of de-escalation. I think the NATO would love to get an excuse to just flatten Russia. And they're doing everything in their power, it seems. And we're just sitting here all talking like every night being like, that's bad, that's wrong, you shouldn't do it. And they're lying to the American people. I just don't understand why we haven't gotten there. Well, we got swatted 6 times this year.
Yeah.
So maybe that's happening.
I don't think for one, we've never tested NATO, right? So it's never really truly been tested. So Article 5 has been called on one time after 9/11, right? And the NATO forces, what did they do after 9/11? They said, okay, yeah, I guess this qualifies. And they sent some jets over to patrol the U.S. skies because that's the only job is they have to defend you on your soil. They don't have to go to enemy soil. That's why they didn't go into Afghanistan or Iraq. They did have some countries were able to opt in, but there wasn't an Article 5, actually invoked in order to force troops to go in anywhere. So it's never really been tested. We don't actually know. I mean, we sit here and we posture and we act like, oh yeah, we would totally flatten Russia, but we don't actually know how we would do head to head against Russia. And we also don't know who would join in with Russia. Right?
And Russia, their military is, I think their capabilities are around 50-60% of NATO, which sounds...
We don't know that.
Right. But I will say this. Russia's military is unified under one command structure. NATO is a bunch of different countries, different languages, different cultures. That could be a huge issue.
But NATO's really only the United States, France, the UK, and Turkey.
Yeah.
Everybody else just gives us some bodies, the bodies of people that maybe are not well trained, right? So you have to have those 4 countries getting together, and the French are always, lately they've been pretty hesitant to get involved at all. They've got their own problems, so they especially don't like to go with us to the Middle East. And Turkey, same thing. Turkey feels a little bit hesitant about that. So, and Turkey is not really embraced very well. You know, look at how Ukraine is being embraced and putting in applications to be joining the EU, and they get the backing of some EU members. And Turkey's been applying year after year after year, let us into the EU, and they get snubbed. So Turkey is 1 foot out the door.
Right.
For Russia and Turkey not to be like lockstep, I can't imagine that Black Sea. You can't get through Constantinople. You can't get through Istanbul without Turkey.
Well, I think that's why Turkey knows that they've been embraced by NATO, was just to sort of take some power away from Russia, hopefully. But Turkey's not 100% there with us. I mean, they really are straddling the line between the two. And I think that at any minute, Turkey could actually say, you know what, we just want to forget this whole NATO thing. We're not really involved in it.
Historically, I mean, people switch sides in the middle of conflict. It's not out of the ballpark. Just because someone on paper says they're your ally doesn't mean that, like, when realism hits the fan, people do what they need to do to survive.
Right. That's why NATO hasn't really truly been tested, and I think they're afraid to actually do it, because I don't think they know what Turkey will actually do if they'll really truly send bodies in to go and confront Russians. And to potentially, to allow thousands of your own to die for what? So
I just want to say,
never tested it.
Speak of the devil. What is the full phrase?
And he shall appear.
And he shall appear. It looks like our chat shut down.
Oh,
What?
I noticed
Oh my
because
goodness.
we have the live chat going, and I can see everything. I got a little
You
command.
jinxed it.
And normally it's just flying like crazy. Just chats are coming in like
Let me see
crazy.
if I can see.
And so I noticed it stopped moving.
What?
And I was like, what's this?
Yeah, it's
and,
not moving.
There's no chat. So I'm like, maybe the browser's screwed up. So I tried resetting the chat, didn't work. I pulled up my phone
Yeah.
and went in.
Yep.
There's no chat. I just posted the message, smashed the like button, and I don't see it even on my own phone on the same account. So
could be.
Oh, there we go.
No, yeah,
it's
going.
back.
There we
Is
go.
it back?
We're
Oh,
back.
as soon as you mentioned
That's
it.
what I
yeah.
noticed.
Right?
As I was building mines over the decade, I noticed almost all the time when people think that you're doing something insidious, technically it's usually like a glitch.
Yeah. That's
no,
what I
dude,
noticed.
no way.
From my
no way.
from my perspective as an admin, it is a glitch. Usually it's a glitch.
now
it's
it's,
like
super
now it's
fast.
now it's exploding.
they're like,
Holy
he's onto us. Some
Yeah.
admins like,
people are saying chat was dead. It's back. It's broken. It's back.
It
What
could be a
happened?
glitch. You know, the other night my internet went down, and other people were like, my internet went down too. Like 2 nights ago. Did you guys have
Yeah,
internet?
many such
Did you guys have?
cases.
Was there all
Yeah.
sorts of tech outages a couple nights ago? Like, is this like a global attack? Was that-
Probably.
No,
I
maybe.
mean, well,
I
look,
wouldn't have been
Oh, that wouldn't
surprised.
be that
Yeah. Look, I'll tell you this, man. I think we're already in World War III. The problem is people don't like that phrase because it invokes imagery of bombings and blitzkriegs and all that stuff. But people need to understand that NATO is absolutely supplying weapons and personnel to the Ukrainians for a ground war with Russia. China has already threatened the U.S. that if we take any economic sanctions or actions against them, they'll retaliate against us. So already China has announced that they're going to be supporting Russia with the sanctions with union pay. The U.S. is already, I'll put it this way. What is war? Can you define war for me, like legitimately, like off the top of your head, Kim?
2 countries battling.
Maybe that, because I'm not trying to put you on the
Or
spot.
many
Genuinely,
countries
I'm like,
battling.
how would you define it, right? We typically, there's hot war, there's cold war, there's
Yeah.
economic
Right.
warfare.
Info.
And
Well,
you could battle many
info war.
ways. You don't
Right.
have to battle with guns. You could battle with, like, it could be cyber war or,
Yes.
any kind of really
And we've
economic
seen-
warfare.
We've seen cyber attacks across the board. We've seen weird outages happening. We've seen industrial plants exploding and things like that. And if we're in an information warfare or an info war, as some Texas
Some have
gentleman.
Now
Yeah.
you're really
Oh,
looking for your
no.
chat to get
Yeah,
shut
you're
down.
trying to get
there
this-
you go.
yeah.
No,
Yeah.
but if
Okay.
I think it's fair to say, we see all these stories where it's like anonymous takes down Russian infrastructure, and I'm like, dude, it's probably the U.S. government or its contractors. Mm-hmm. It is Western interests going after Russia. Here's what blows my mind. The U.S. is like, we want to give weapons to the Ukrainians, right? We want planes or whatever. Poland says we want to give these planes. If we're providing weaponry to Ukrainians, then Latvia says we vote to allow our citizens to go to Ukraine and fight for the Ukrainians. I'm like, how is this not a declaration of war? Providing resources to one country who's fighting another?
Oh yeah, and like Visa, MasterCard, and American Express shut down access in Russia, but it wasn't the American government that did it, so
Right.
we're off the hook. But it's like, oh, how much power do these corporations have?
So think about what is the purpose of war? Because I agree with you, Tim. I actually think we're in World War III, but I think we've been, and I don't remember which show I actually said that exact thing on recently, but I think it's not because of the weapons that we're giving and there's battles going on in Ukraine. What is the purpose of war? So when you're going to war with another country, why are you doing it? You're doing it because you don't want them to. So we try to go to war with the Soviets to stop the spread of the Soviet Union, right? So we don't want them to have dominance or power in certain parts of the world.
We want influence over different regions and people to our own benefit.
Right.
Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. But if you want to check out the full show live, tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. And if you want more special access content, head over to timcast.com and become a member. Your membership helps sustain this company, keep our journalists employed, makes this show happen, and you will get access to exclusive members-only segments of the Timcast IRL podcast, and there's a massive library to check out. So again, go to timcast.com or tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., and we'll see you all there.